February wasn't meant to end like this, yet here we are, standing on the precipice of something profound, something beyond ordinary comprehension. The last day of February has always carried a peculiar energy, as if the month itself was an unfinished thought, abruptly cut short before it could fully settle into place. But this year, this February 28th feels different. It hums with a significance that is impossible to ignore, a kind of cosmic punctuation mark that signals both an ending and an unprecedented new beginning. In the final hours of this already incomplete month, a new moon rises. Not just an ordinary lunar phase, but one strategically placed as if by design, as though the universe itself has been orchestrating something beneath the surface. It's the kind of event that feels too precise to be coincidence. And as if that weren't enough, the sky is about to unveil something even more extraordinary. 7 planets aligning in a rare celestial formation. 7, the number that has long symbolized spiritual completion, wholeness, and divine order. This isn't just an astronomical event, it's a universal reset, a moment where the cosmos realigns in a way that demands our attention. If the past few months have felt like a relentless uphill climb, if you've been pushing forward despite exhaustion, uncertainty, and the weight of unseen forces, you're not imagining things. Something has been shifting beneath the surface, subtle yet undeniable. And if you've been sensitive to it, you've likely felt the undercurrents of change moving through your life. The energy of this moment is not merely about endings. It's about clearing the slate, making space for something entirely new to emerge. There's an unspoken truth about this particular new moon, something that isn't widely discussed but that you might instinctively sense. This is not just another lunar phase. It's a recalibration. A moment where timelines converge, where the past and future seem to blur, and where the choices made now will have ripple effects far beyond what is immediately visible. If you've been waiting for a sign, if you felt like something is shifting but haven't been able to put it into words, this is it. Pay attention. The shift has already begun, and its effects are already in motion. You're not just witnessing a moment in time, you're standing at the threshold of something entirely new. And whether you realize it or not, you're a part of this cosmic realignment. What happens next is up to you. This new moon's energy isn't just approaching, it's already here, weaving itself into the fabric of your reality in ways that might feel both subtle and overwhelming. If you've been experiencing restlessness, unexpected waves of exhaustion, or a surge in vivid, almost prophetic dreams, know that this isn't a coincidence. The energy of this lunar cycle doesn't simply build up. It activates, recalibrates, and shifts the very essence of what you perceive as stable. It's as if reality itself is fine-tuning its frequencies, making space for something far greater to unfold. Many people describe feeling an inexplicable anticipation, as though they are on the verge of something significant yet unknown. Others feel depleted, as if their energy has been drained without any logical reason. Whether you feel wired and alert or sluggish and fatigued, you are already moving through the pre-wave of this energetic shift. The fluctuations you're experiencing are not random. They are guiding you into alignment, preparing you for a profound transition. And if you think the intensity of this moment is already high, brace yourself, because what follows will be even more transformative. This new moon is not just about a surge of energy, it is an initiation, a cosmic threshold that demands your readiness before you step into the next phase of your life. The universe never allows significant shifts without ensuring that you are truly prepared to handle them. And how does it do that? Through tests, real, tangible situations that force you to prove what you've learned. to embody your growth, and to reaffirm the choices you claim to have made. Over the next 48 hours, you will likely encounter something unexpected. It may come in the form of a challenge that seems eerily familiar, almost like a déjà vu of past struggles. It could be an argument that resurfaces to test whether you've truly mastered patience and self-control. Perhaps an old habit, addiction, or temptation returns, forcing you to reaffirm your discipline and commitment to change. Or it might be something even deeper, a sudden, undeniable moment of clarity that reveals exactly what your next step should be. This is not a coincidence, it is a cosmic checkpoint. The universe is asking you, have you really grown? Have you truly evolved? Or will you fall back into old cycles, repeating the same patterns you swore you left behind? This is your opportunity to prove to yourself more than anyone that you're ready for the new beginning waiting on the other side of this moon. So whatever arises in these next 2 days, don't dismiss it. Don't react impulsively. Observe, acknowledge, reflect. Because this is more than just a phase in the lunar cycle, it's a doorway. And what happens next depends entirely on whether you choose to walk through it with awareness, strength, and the wisdom you've gained. This is the final checkpoint before the shift. The moment of truth where everything you've been working toward is tested. Pass, and you ascend to the next level, moving forward with deeper wisdom and a heightened state of awareness. Fail, and you are not cast aside, but instead given the opportunity to relearn, to refine, to strengthen your understanding before stepping through the threshold. This is not just an individual journey, it is a collective transformation. The universe is not merely watching, it's orchestrating something far greater than we can yet perceive. What makes this moment even more significant is that the new moon on February 28th will not stand alone in the sky. It will be accompanied by a rare and powerful alignment of 7 celestial bodies: Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune. This is not just an ordinary astrological event, not just a coincidental movement of planets through the vast, silent corridors of space. These planetary forces are not simply drifting into place, they are locking in, as if the universe itself is entering a code, like the tumblers of a cosmic safe clicking into perfect alignment. And when the right combination is achieved, something opens. The number 7 has always carried profound meaning across cultures, traditions, and spiritual teachings. It is the number of completion, divine order, the culmination of cycles. It represents the harmony between the physical and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen. When these 7 planets align under the energy of a new moon, the lunar phase, known for its mystery, unpredictability, and hidden potential, something profound is being rewritten. It could be a sealing of one era and the unlocking of another, a closing of doors behind us, ensuring there is no turning back, while simultaneously opening new pathways we never could have accessed before. Yes, before watching the full video, I wanted to say one thing. If you appreciate my hard work in this reading, please donate a super thanks. But what if this alignment is not just an astrological occurrence? What if it is the precursor to a shift in the very energy that underpins our reality? What if this moment in time is setting the stage for an evolution so immense that our human minds can barely grasp its implications? There are moments in history, both collective and personal, where the unseen forces of the universe align in a way that changes everything. We don't always recognize these moments as they happen, but their echoes ripple forward, altering the course of what is to come. As the darkness of the new moon stretches over the sky, veiling the known and amplifying the unknown, the question is no longer about what is happening. It's about whether you're ready. Because this is not a passive event. This is a call to consciousness, a moment of decision. Are you prepared to move forward, to embrace the new, to step into the shift with open eyes and an open heart? Or will you remain in the cycle, repeating the lesson until the time is right? The universe does not forget. It does not abandon or punish. It only waits, patient, unwavering, knowing that every soul must find its way in its own time. But when the stars align, when the energies merge in perfect synchronicity, the door doesn't stay open forever. There is a moment to step through, a moment when everything changes. Something profound is approaching, an unseen force stirring beneath the surface, preparing to reshape the landscape of your life. If February has felt less like an ending and more like a liminal space, a waiting room where unfinished business lingers, where echoes of unresolved conversations and unspoken truths refuse to fade, you're not imagining things. This month has been a slow build-up, a quiet but undeniable pressure, and with the arrival of the new moon, the weight of what has been left hanging is about to lift. The past is knocking, but not to haunt you. It's here to be dealt with, once and for all. This isn't just any new moon. It rises in Pisces, the sign that governs the unseen, the mystical, and the karmic cycles that shape our lives in ways we often don't understand until much later. If you felt trapped in an endless loop, replaying old patterns, encountering familiar struggles, or watching history repeat itself in ways that seem frustratingly unfair, this is the moment the cycle begins to break. Pisces, with its deep well of intuition and spiritual wisdom, doesn't just bring change, it brings revelation. It asks you to look beyond what is obvious and to trust what your soul has known all along. The patience you've practiced, the resilience you've nurtured, the faith you've held on to even when logic said otherwise. It has all been leading up to this shift. For those who have been giving selflessly, working tirelessly, and staying true to their path despite the obstacles, this new moon signals a long overdue breakthrough. Recognition, long-awaited results, long-needed change, these are not just possibilities, they are inevitabilities. The universe is recalibrating, and where there has been imbalance, the scales now begin to tip back into place. Effort that has gone unseen will finally be acknowledged. Energy invested will return. A door that has remained stubbornly shut will creak open at last. But justice does not discriminate. If this moon is a blessing for those who have walked with integrity, it is also a reckoning for those who have not. If shortcuts have been taken, if truths have been bent, if accountability has been dodged, this is when the universe intervenes. Pisces, for all its compassion, does not allow deception to persist indefinitely. The veil is lifting, illusions are dissolving, and consequences, whether earned through dedication or avoidance, will be delivered. This is not about punishment. It is about balance. The cosmos is setting things right, not in ways that are necessarily easy, but in ways that are undeniably just. This new moon is not subtle, nor is it passive. It is a turning point, a moment of clarity in which what has been hidden emerges. What has been stalled begins to move, and what has felt uncertain starts to make sense. It is a reminder that time does not forget, that energy is never lost, and that the work you have done, seen or unseen, always comes back around. What unfolds now is not random. It is a direct reflection of what has been put into motion before. So stand still for a moment, breathe it in, feel the shift. The waiting is over, the story continues, but from here, everything changes. As February reaches its final days, an almost imperceptible tension builds in the air, a feeling that something long buried is inching toward the surface. Pisces karma isn't just about restoring balance, it's about revelation. This is the season when illusions shatter, when the hidden becomes visible, when the weight of unspoken truths presses against reality's fragile shell. You may have already felt it, those inexplicable waves of heaviness, the sudden moments of clarity that seem to arrive out of nowhere, the sense that something beyond your understanding is shifting in the background. But this isn't just another lunar cycle. This is something deeper, something ancient, something written into the fabric of time itself. And as the new moon reaches its peak, the energy changes. Subtly at first, like a ripple moving through still water. If you're paying attention, you'll sense it. The way the air takes on a different density, how the night feels somehow deeper, as if the world has momentarily stretched at its seams. Then at the stroke of midnight, the shift becomes undeniable. It's a moment so fleeting, so delicate, that most will ignore it. But those attuned to the energy of the cosmos will feel it. A quiet disruption, a pulse in the atmosphere. Some may experience it as a brief silence, a sudden awareness of their own heartbeat. Others might feel it physically, a tingling at the base of their neck, a subtle pressure behind their eyes, a fleeting dizziness that vanishes as quickly as it came. The sensation is personal, unique to each observer, yet universally connected to something larger, something unseen. And then, just as quickly as it came, it passes. The world resumes its familiar rhythm. The veil pulls back into place. But the air still hums with the aftershock. Something has shifted. Something has been set in motion. And whether we acknowledge it or not, the reverberations will echo in the days to come. This phenomenon isn't new, nor is it random. Whenever a new moon falls at the very threshold between months, the effect amplifies. Time itself seems to waver, as if the boundary between what is and what was momentarily weakens. The ancient ones spoke of these moments as thresholds, points where reality bends and the unseen world bleeds through. It's why, even in modern times, people report eerie sensations around midnight, an inexplicable knowing that something just beyond their perception is watching, waiting, listening. One thing, please listen carefully. If you want to be a part of our small and lovely family, make sure to take the subscription by hitting the join button. Most will dismiss these feelings as nothing more than tricks of the mind. But those who are sensitive to the energies of the universe will understand. This isn't coincidence, it's a convergence, a cosmic alignment not just of planets and moons, but of forces far older than our understanding. Forces that do not obey human logic, that do not need to be seen to be real. So as the last hours of February slip away, pay attention. Watch for the moments that feel off, for the whispers in the silence, for the feeling that you are not alone. Because in this liminal space, where time and reality blur, something ancient stirs. And for those who are willing to listen, the universe may just reveal its secrets. Not everything in the dark is meant to stay hidden. Some things only reveal themselves in the absence of light, unfolding like secrets whispered in the silence. On February 28th, the world will experience a total blackout. No moon, no reflection, just an endless void stretching across the sky. It's not just the physical darkness that matters. It's the energetic shift that comes with it. Most will overlook it, moving through their routines without sensing the unseen forces at play. But for those who are attuned, something stirs beneath the surface. It's subtle, yet undeniable, a presence that lingers just beyond perception. When the moon disappears, we enter what can only be described as a spiritual blind spot. It's like walking into a room you've never stepped into before. but somehow you know you're not alone. The air thickens, the silence grows dense, and in that stillness, awareness sharpens. It's a moment when the usual boundaries between the seen and unseen blur, when the space between thought and reality becomes thinner. Some may dismiss it as imagination, but those who have felt it before understand it's real, and it's waiting. This isn't just another night. Something shifts in the darkness. Not always with malice, but always with purpose. It could be a realization that has long evaded you, a buried truth rising to the surface, or a message from something greater than yourself. But these revelations do not come in the form of grand gestures or unmistakable signs. They slip in quietly, almost imperceptibly, like a dream that lingers too vividly in your mind, refusing to fade. A sudden thought that feels placed there rather than born from your own consciousness. A gut feeling so intense it grips you before you even understand why. An intuition so sharp it seems to predict what is coming before it arrives. Most will brush it off, drown it out with distractions, or convince themselves it's nothing more than coincidence. But those who are truly listening, those who know how to move through the quiet without fear, will recognize it for what it is. They won't need proof, because they'll feel it in their bones. They'll understand that not all messages are meant to be obvious, and not all guidance comes in ways that can be rationalized. That's exactly why the majority won't notice. Because the nature of a spiritual blind spot is that it does not reveal itself to those who aren't looking. The universe is not speaking loudly right now. It's whispering. And the only way to hear a whisper is to be still enough to listen. There's something profoundly unsettling about this kind of darkness. It isn't just an absence of light. It's a presence of something else entirely. It doesn't simply obscure, it reveals. In the depths of such darkness, the world shifts in ways we can't rationally explain. Shadows stretch, not just across the room, but across the mind, making us feel rather than see, compelling us to trust rather than demand tangible proof. In this kind of darkness, truth is neither hidden nor illuminated. It simply exists, waiting to be acknowledged. That's why, when this new moon passes, many will wake up with a deep, unshakable sense that something has changed. They might not be able to put it into words, but they'll feel it in their bones. A realization will settle in, perhaps about someone they've been misjudging, or about a truth they've long been avoiding. Maybe it will be about themselves, an aspect of their own nature that has lurked just beneath the surface, waiting for a moment like this to emerge. Or perhaps clarity will arrive in a flash, so sudden and undeniable that they'll wonder how they never noticed it before. And then there's February 28th, a date that has always felt a little off. There's something deeply strange about a day that exists so inconsistently, vanishing from the calendar every 4 years, as if it were never truly meant to be. It's a glitch in time, a missing frame in the otherwise steady reel of existence. If time were a film strip, this would be the scene that occasionally gets left on the cutting room floor, except sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it remains, playing on repeat for those who are paying close enough attention. And here's where things get even more unsettling. More people than you might expect have noticed that something feels different around this time of year. Patterns emerge, subtle but undeniable. Conversations unfold with an eerie familiarity, as though they've been spoken before. Déjà vu strikes with such force that people pause mid-sentence, as if their mind is short-circuiting, scrambling to process an experience that has somehow already happened. It's a feeling that lingers just beyond the edges of understanding, a flicker of something both known and unknowable. But what if that flicker isn't just an illusion? What if February 28th isn't merely a forgotten day, but something more. A ghost day, a liminal space between realities. A moment where time itself wavers, slipping in and out of alignment, existing in multiple states at once, like a light caught mid-flicker. And if that's true, what else might slip through the cracks? What truths, what whispers of other timelines, what fragments of forgotten futures might seep into our reality in those in-between hours? Maybe that's why, for some, this time of year feels so charged, like standing at the edge of something vast and unknown, waiting for the moment when the flickering stops, and they can finally see what's been hiding in the dark all along. Maybe today is unlike any other, a crack in the illusion of time, a moment where reality itself wavers just enough for us to sense the difference. Perhaps this is the one day when time doesn't move as steadily as we believe. When the invisible threads that hold past, present, and future together loosen just enough for something strange to slip through. People have always spoken about the odd way time behaves around now. Some swear the hours race ahead, as if trying to outrun them, while others feel trapped in a day that stretches endlessly, each minute expanding like an eternity. Even the technology we trust to measure time falters. Clocks hesitate before continuing their silent march. Phones freeze mid-action. Messages lost to the void suddenly resurface as if they had never left. Reality seems to stutter, as if caught between two versions of itself, flickering between what was and what could be. And if this is true, if time isn't as rigid as we assume, then we must ask ourselves, how many times have we lived this very moment before? There's a theory that time isn't linear at all, that it moves in loops, replaying itself in subtle ripples over and over again, until something finally shatters the pattern. We think of time as a river, flowing in one direction, but what if it's more like a whirlpool, spinning endlessly in a cycle we're only dimly aware of? What if February 28th is one of those days, a hinge point in the cycle, a day meant to repeat until something or someone breaks free? Maybe we've been trapped inside this moment longer than we can comprehend. Maybe every déjà vu, every unshakable sense of familiarity, every nagging suspicion that we've been here before is a whisper from the universe, urging us to pay attention. Because this time, something is different. This time, something is shifting. The universe has been sending signals, subtle at first, a missed call from an unknown number, a streetlight flickering just as you pass, a conversation that feels eerily familiar before you realize you've had it before, word for word. It's been there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. Most will dismiss it as nothing. Most will convince themselves that today is just another ordinary day, that the strange energy in the air is a trick of the mind. But what if it's not? What if today is the day the loop finally breaks? What happens when a cycle that has played out countless times before suddenly reaches its limit? What happens when time, for the first time in longer than we know, begins to move forward? If you feel it, if you sense that something is off, that something unseen is shifting beneath the surface, you're not imagining it. The fabric of time is thinner today, the pattern more fragile than before. And if we are meant to break free, then the real question is, what comes next? The eerie stillness of the night carries a weight beyond silence, a presence that lingers in the air like an unspoken truth waiting to be uncovered. The planets, 7 celestial bodies, align with uncanny precision, not by mere chance, but as if guided by an unseen force, a cosmic architect shaping the very fabric of reality. The new moon, veiled in shadow, sits at the very edge of the month's cycle, marking an ending yet whispering of a new beginning. None of this is arbitrary. Patterns, after all, do not emerge from nothing. They are the fingerprints of an underlying order, the rhythm of something greater at play. And if you pause for just a moment, if you allow yourself to step back and truly observe what has been unfolding around you, the message reveals itself in stark clarity. This is not just another night. This is a threshold, a reset, a moment suspended between what was and what is yet to come. Everything has been leading to this. The signs have been subtle but persistent, recurring dreams, synchronicities that seem too precise to dismiss, an unshakable sense that something is shifting beneath the surface of everyday life. Perhaps you've felt it, a quiet pull in the depths of your consciousness, a whisper urging you to pay attention, to look deeper. Maybe it's a pattern that keeps surfacing, a lesson the universe refuses to let you ignore. Or perhaps it's the sensation that reality itself is aligning in a way you can't quite put into words, as though a missing puzzle piece is about to fall into place, revealing an image that has been forming all along. The thing about puzzles, though, is that they only make sense when the final piece is set. Until then, you may only see fragments, hints, scattered clues that feel disconnected. But when the whole image is finally unveiled, clarity rushes in like a tide, washing away uncertainty. And tonight, this precise alignment, this moonless sky, this date caught in the liminal space of time, is that moment. It is the striking of midnight, the turning of the cosmic wheel, the synchronization of something far larger than we can yet comprehend. For those who are awake, for those attuned to the shifts in energy, the change will be palpable. The world may look the same, but something fundamental will have shifted beneath its surface. And those who are paying attention will be the first to notice. The question is, are you one of them? Have you been listening to the quiet nudges, the whispers that guide you toward understanding? Have you dared to see the truth that has been waiting in plain sight? Now is the time to ask yourself, what patterns have been repeating in your life? What signs have been appearing, asking for your awareness? What's the universe urging you to realize? Because in the stillness of this night, in the perfect alignment of celestial bodies, a doorway stands open. A transformation is at hand, and those who step through will find themselves on the other side of something entirely new. If you're finding value in this content, consider supporting our channel by giving a super thanks. It truly makes a difference. And please don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting updates and content that can inspire and encourage you. Your support means so much, and we are grateful for each of you.